Hi everybody, this is Sarah, and today Ina is sharing bravely into 2021. Hey Ina.
Hey Sarah, how you doing?
Good. So just a bit of background, because I've known Ina for quite a long time now. We actually live on the same street, so it's quite funny to be doing a Zoom call together. But Ina and I met shortly after we'd adopted our first daughter, Ellie, and I was pushing a buggy through the forest and came across Ina, who had just moved in down the street, and promptly introduced myself. I was obviously looking for friends with babies. Something had just appeared in my life. So yeah, maybe you tell people a little bit about yourself, maybe kind of a little bit of an introduction, who you are, and yeah.
Okay, so I'm Ina. I'm obviously Sarah's neighbor. We know each other for quite a long time. I'm having a lot of kids for myself and one from another relationship of my husband. I am an IT manager, an agile coach, a transformation manager. I did a lot in my life already, mainly focusing on IT. Currently working as an agile coach independently, and also having a small but nice business called Luxus Lunch, running together with some friends. So doing a lot. I like a lot to test, try, fail fast, and redo it or iterate in stuff. And I also like a lot to learn more things. I'm very curious, and obviously I like to spend time with good friends like Sarah.
So just describe a bit about yourself as to, what's inspired you, what have you done up until now, and what's important for you in your life?
So the most important thing for me is that I can trust other people. So especially in my close proxy, so meaning my friends, my family. This is a value I think this is the most important thing in my life, to trust other people and to be honest and trustful to them. So this is one thing. So what I like is, as I said, I like to learn. I stay curious, and I hope that I can inspire other people by giving them the chance to learn together with me. So I like also to share what I know and to help other people to grow.
So what's important about that in building the business that you're currently building?
First, for me, it's always a test. So as I said, I'm an agile coach. It's ingrained in my DNA, so to speak, to test and try out. So it's better to start something and to iterate and to course correct rather than just talking about it and do nothing. So as you previously said in one of your videos, done is better than talking about it, right? So if I do that correctly, yeah. So for me, it's more like, okay, I have an idea. I rather try it out before I start talking about it. So, and this is what what drives my business a lot. So yeah, when I started my own consulting business, I didn't know really what I wanted to offer because I have such a broad experience and such a long experience. But in starting, it really came to a more narrow set of services I offered. The same is true with the small thing we're doing right now together with a cook and a friend, to try out if we can help people with a service to deliver fresh, healthy food here in the area. And we're combining our technical knowledge, our knowledge in business, and our knowledge in the food industry together to offer a new service. And again, it's just trying if it's something which can build a more broader business. But for me, it's really the case of, okay, let's be brave and start it and do something.
So I hear a lot around kind of innovation and simplicity. So using innovation to create or to simplify some of the things that we've all got going on in our lives.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that simplicity is always the answer, but adding more and more stuff to something which is in fact not very complicated to start with, it's not the strategy I'm using. So I'd rather look for what can I do based on my own experience, my knowledge. What do I need to bring at the table? Yeah, like bringing other people with different skill sets. And let's be honest to ourselves, what can we actually deliver and what is in our hands? So I'm not a big fan of bringing up this big, huge vision of something I clearly can see from the beginning. It's far too much to ask, or far too high an aim to start with. So more start small, iterate, find out if it's working. If not, pivot early or fail early and start over new. So this is something which is my strategy to do business.
Okay, so that takes a lot of courage to kind of be able to just walk in and try stuff and not be too concerned about the consequences, is what I'm hearing. So
Yeah,
how do you,
of course, I'm willing to take the consequences. Don't get me wrong here, right? So the willingness and the risk-taking attitude you have to have. But what I'm always striving after is a controlled risk-taking. So I'm not a maniac to say I want to earn billions in 2 years or something. This is not what drives me, right?
okay, so you invest quite a lot of energy in your business and coming up with ideas, but how do you then kind of nurture yourself? How do you ensure that you can keep going?
I mean, there are quality measures and there are quantity measures. Of course, I always have a plan, a cash management plan, a financial model behind that. So I know what I want to earn, what I need to earn in order to support the business. So there's no doubt that I'm measuring financials all the time. I mean, literally every day. Do we run our business, or am I running my business against my plan, my financial planning? But on the other hand, quality measures like do I deliver based on my strategy? Do I deliver based on my values is also very important for me. And what I'm doing is at the end of each work week to look into my values and say, did I deliver based upon my values and my mission statement, or do I have something to do to improve on that side? So I'm very honest to myself in that.
So like you're doing with your product, you're also doing it with yourself in terms of how you're managing the business. So
Yes.
which of your values are really key to you?
Yeah, as I said, honesty and trust, and something around curiosity and learning, constantly learning on new things, or improving things I know and get to a better level, higher level of knowledge there.
Okay. So where's the one area where you're still too hard on yourself? You know, irrelevant how many years experience you've got, what is the one thing that you really struggle to kind of laugh at yourself for?
Yeah, what I'm laughing at is always that people say you're too fast for me, or for us. So I always constantly have to hold my energy a little bit back, because I'm a known and labeled pacemaker. So this is one thing I always have to consider when working with other people, and even with myself. Sometimes I'm too fast and need to consider more details before I start something. So, and this is a long process, and it started really early in my career. I'm now better, of course, because I have more years to count on. But yeah, this is something I always have to consider, not to be so fast. Yeah.
So if you look back to when you were, say, 10 years old, what's the one bit of advice you wish you'd have known or wish you could have given yourself at that age?
So when I was 10 years old, I wanted to become a doctor. So that was my focus thing. And I continued to nourish that desire until I actually could enter the workforce. And yet I couldn't do it. I couldn't study medicine for whatever reason. And that was the time when I was like, okay, what now? This was a really breaking point. And I didn't realize that I should have had more ideas about my strengths, what I like to do, what supports the fun part in working. So looking back when I was 10, I should have more focus on the things I like and enjoy to do. And that would help me, would have better supported my choice, what I'm going to study, what I'm going to work and stuff.
Okay, so this self-reflection as to actually what, what do you want?
Yeah, what do I want? What do I like to do? And that translate then into something which is a more sustainable start, I would say, right? If that exists.
Okay. So let's flip that onto today. What's your wish for yourself then for this year?
So, I mean, I'm not using the C word, but I really hope that this thing goes away by the end of the year and that everyone is more safe. And that would help also doing business with other people again. And that we see each other more often, have more interactions with each other. So this is like the umbrella wish for me for this year. So I'm really craving for this pandemic thing coming to an end. The other wish I have.
So just stop there 1 second. What is it you've struggled with most through the pandemic? I'm hearing from you, it's kind of this not having so much contact with people, not being able to see people face to face. What is that?
I think when we look back to my values, I mean, trust and honesty and transparency is much easier when you have personal interaction, because you grasp more the personality and the way they're acting when you're face to face. I mean, that's clear. I mean, I like Zoom. It's making my life easier, and it's effectively working for business, but getting to know each other, forming a team, making mutual trust, I guess the personal interaction is fairly needed. So this is something I guess we all struggle a little bit with.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I mean, of course, as I said, I have a lot of kids. This homeschooling stuff is driving everybody towards a very exhaustive state, not only of mind but of body. So I think that's something people consider as a big problem, and myself as well. And also, I just want to get away. I'm just wanting to travel again, to see something else, and to have a different view, a different perspective on things.
So there's a great saying in German, Tapetewechsel. It's like obviously changing scenery, changing wallpapers, the literal translation. But this is what just comes through to me as Ina's talking there, is like, it's like changing scenery, please. Okay, so what's your one wish for the planet in this year?
For the planet, I hope that our politicians are able to consider not only an agenda until 2030, but also be clear on what's happening until 2050, because that's the horizon I do see for myself as my lifespan, right? And of course, for my children, because they have to live much longer than 2030, and should live longer than 2030, and be more clearer on what's happening after 2030. And I guess this is what I hope will come out of all the discussion in the European Union, and together with the administration and the other big 8 countries, the industry leaders. And also, I hope that we don't forget to vaccinate the rest of the world, not only our Western Hemisphere, because when you look at Africa, there are only 2% of the populations that are vaccinated by now. I mean, that's a shame, yeah, that we're not considering that. And look at India at the moment, big in press and big in discussions. I mean, I hope that the Western countries are taking that into account, that we have to do more for these countries and have to help them to get also a higher vaccination rate as we are.
Okay, so something around collaborating at a global level to actually support one another to actually be able to make progress as a globe or as a planet rather than just in our little isolated countries. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what is it kind of leads in nicely? What's the one change you're making or you and the family are making to live more sustainably this year?
Yeah, so for the families, as you know, we're driving since 4 years an electric car already. We're using the bikes mostly for everything we're commuting to and back in a range up to 5 kilometers. So and also what I'm doing with the family is we have reduced our meat consumption a lot. So the family less meat. And we're also always looking for ways to reduce the trash. And you and I, we always have community walks, you and I, and pick the trash out of the woods. And so this is what we do, right?
Yeah, so Ina and I quite often go out for walks together, and then we've got a trash bag. We've always got a bin bag in our pocket and a glove, so that one of us is picking and one of us is holding the bin bag. So that's our local activity.
I mean, it's just a small contribution, but I'm very conscious about it. And yeah, I mean, there's loads of other stuff we could do. And yeah, I mean, I know in the Western Hemisphere, we're mostly contributing to this planet. How can I say this nicely? But there is no nice thing. So we're contributing to the pollution in big part, and yeah. So we have to make sure that our technology supports that, and that we are very conscious on how we're teaching our children to deal with the situation.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and how we teach them to love our planet. Okay, so what is the one kind of motivational saying or a book or a podcast that you would recommend to the listeners, kind of, which has helped you or helped guide you?
As you know, I'm reading a lot. So if I should name one, I mean, I'm not I'm not finished with thinking about it. So I mean, of course, our friend Kelsey Rumberg, she wrote this book about helping to use trash to treasure, to convert that into treasure. So this is, of course, I'm recommending it because she's our friend and did something very bravely. So this is something I would recommend. Then I read a lot of stuff around tech, of course, right? What do we do with the planet and with the environment we're creating in tech? And of course, my focus is also on equality things like women's rights and stuff. So what I'm recommending right now is a book which is called Brotopia from Emily Chang.
Oh, interesting.
And this is, I mean, you have to be very brave to go through it. It's heavy stuff. It describes about the Brotopia brother. Utopia in Silicon Valley in tech, how they treat women and how they objectify women in tech. And I think there's a lot of things to do also in terms of sustainability, because I believe if women get more seats at the table, at any table, then there are more view and more sustainable view on the way we deal with things, not only with business, also with the planet, because women usually have the focus on the upsprings and then the offsprings, I'm sorry, children. And we always look forward to build an environment where our kids can really live in a good environment. So this is why I'm recommending that book right now. And as I said, it's heavy stuff, but we need to know.
Okay, so increasing awareness around the topic that we all, because I mean, we all have our kind of filters which we don't even see, we don't even challenge a lot of stuff that's in our day-to-day lives. So what I'm hearing is you're willing to open that up and look for equality and yeah, share that space.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
So we lost you a little bit there, but I'm hoping that the quality of the sound's okay.
Yeah,
but what's your kind of one last, what would you like to share with the listeners as a kind of a last point for them to take away about you or about the business?
What I would say is, even though I'm known as a pacemaker, be patient and give yourself and everybody else around you who share your values the time to really try out and to test if things can happen. Yeah, this is a recommendation I always give people I'm surrounded with, because nothing gets done overnight. It takes time to learn, and it takes time to really find out if an idea is really working. But if you find out that it's not working, then just stop it. Yeah, don't fall into that bias I mentioned already with the sunken cost. So if something doesn't work, then just step away, go out of this and just forget it and do something new. Yeah, which is then most probably working better because you learned enough and to avoid the next time the failure you made in the past. So, and making mistakes, I mean, yeah, it's not only all right, it's necessary. Otherwise, you wouldn't grow. I mean, if I wouldn't have made all my mistakes in my life, I wouldn't have learned anything, I believe. So making mistakes is good.
That's cool. It reminds me a bit about Kelsey's book in terms of regenerative entrepreneurs and saying that actually it takes time. It's not something that just kind of grows overnight. And that what you've just said reminds me again, pretty much everywhere people are saying, you know, these people are overnight successes. And actually, when you look back, they're not an overnight success. They've been building this for years. And yet all of a sudden, it then kind of gets traction. So yeah, what I'm hearing from Ina is don't be put off, don't be disheartened by things taking a long time. And if it's worth it, stick at it, but also recognize when maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's not what you set out to do, and not being scared to kind of actually say no and change tack. Cool. Thank you very much, Ina. Great. Go.
One thing to add is find people who have a different view on things than yourself. It's very, very, very difficult. But if you only have the yes-saying people around yourself, you won't grow, even though they may say things you don't like. Yeah.
Okay. So being able to challenge yourself with people from different perspectives, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you very much, Ina. Nice to see you, as always.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.